Hello, everybody. It's Friday. It's PoliTarology, and there's just unfortunately nothing to talk about. Just kidding. There's a ton to talk about.
Psych! Psych!
All right. For some reason, I was moved to do that. Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm going to let everybody say hello. And I think you know who they all are, but just in case you don't, there is to my, I think you'll see her as going to my right.
Left.
Left. Okay. And so I can't tell. My sister, Cleo. And beneath at the bottom there is Sherry. And yeah, so
Dropping cards.
take questions from the chat, but I'll let everybody say hello first. Cleo, go ahead and say hello.
Hi, I'm just happy to be here. Um, if we're talking about what I'm doing after this, I don't know. Let's see.
That's our Cleo.
Yeah,
Right on it.
I'm pretty much booked with different stuff that doesn't have anything to do with YouTube. But on Thursday, I am doing the Golden Girls with Sherry and Marina. And then Friday, I think, if Colleen's going to do it, we'll do the Crone, which is private reading or regular readings, not political.
Crone Oracle, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Crone Oracle. So that's towards the end of next week. But other than that, it's just this. And I'm really happy to be here for this because as much as there's nothing happening, there is so much happening. And so, anyway, Sherry, what's going on with you?
Oh, I got all kinds of crap going on. As usual, I spent my whole morning at the mechanic. But hey, I can roll up the two front windows now. I can roll them up, roll them down, roll them up, roll them down. Wow. That's wonderful. As opposed to what we've been doing, which is to pull them up and push them down. And the motors had gone out in them. But let's see. I've got Deborah Zachow is going to be on tomorrow for a live, and then Dr. Ann is going to be on for a live, and then the slumber party with Selena Essence of the Moon is going to be on, and that's it. I quit for the weekend after that, and I'll do backstage for Arthur on Sunday. Other than that, I'm cooked.
Very good. All right, here we go. PoliTarology. Hello, I am your host, Colleen Pearl, and we have a lot to talk about. I hope we can cover a little bit of everything that we want to talk about. There are a few things having to do with the shutdown. The impasse in Congress is ridiculous. I mean, we're going to read on it. Trump targets funding against democratically led cities, for one, and also I don't know what went on with Chicago, but we can talk about that. He's made a threat of layoffs. He will begin mass layoffs of federal workers from agencies considered to be Democratic targets. Russ Vought is having a big hand in that and decided that he told House Republicans that firings would begin in 1 to 2 days. So President Trump reiterated that on social media. The shutdown has already begun to affect military families who have started seeking food aid as troops go without pay. Nice. Vital nuclear weapons safety oversight could also see disruptions as the funding runs low. And then on the international front, Trump has put out a Gaza peace plan. And Gaza has said, well, there's some things that, yes, we can agree to, but then there's other things that are going to take a longer negotiation, not just this piece of paper. Oh, boy, there's more. There's a Hamas thing, and there was a synagogue attack in the UK, and this is especially important. Kash Patel, the FBI so-called director, has announced that his agency, FBI, is ending its training and intelligence sharing partnership with the Southern Poverty Law Center. Okay. More crickets. Okay. And so I'll hit it again. I'll play it again. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear a new Second Amendment case challenging a Hawaii law that bars people from carrying firearms on private property without the owner's permission. But one of the key components of this is that it has to be private property that is also open to the public, which that kind of seems like an oxymoron. But anyway, the decision could affect gun restrictions nationwide. The Czech Republic, um, the former populist Prime Minister Andrej Babis is expected to win parliamentary elections. He's known as the Czech Trump, and he's indicated that he will scale back military aid to Ukraine if he wins. And there's a thing about France, but I don't think we're going to get to that. We're also going to talk about the Hegseth dump in terms of the military's response and Canadian border issues. Now, that's a very ambitious agenda. I don't know if we'll get to everything, but let's get started. So, Cleo, what do you want to start with?
Probably something that you didn't mention.
Okay, of course.
Well, I just wanted to bring up that, Trump has finally, it's so rare, he's finally come out and honestly told the public that he's lied to us for a long time, and he is actually promoting, and well, we know, well, aware of this, the Project 2025 agenda is all Trump and his cronies, and there's a guy, what is his name? The architect, Russ.
Russell.
Yeah. And then, and of course, Peter Thiel is a part of that too. There's a bunch of people, but that Russ guy, he seems to be. He seems to be calling the shots. He's manipulating Trump, supposedly. I think that Trump will end up trying to say that it's these other people and not really him. On the other hand, he has come out and said that he's doing Project 2025. And so I'm just amazed. Everybody's just looking around like, well, what do you do about that? Well, what he's really saying is, I have been lying to you people for ages, for years and years, and you bought into it. And what are you going to do about it now? You can't do anything. You can't do nothing to me because I am covered both by, as a president, I am covered by the Supreme Court, and I've got hundreds of people backing me up who are also participating in Project 2025. On a little bit different. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and isn't it funny how the Epstein estate has just released a new pack of files, and all of the above named folks were listed in them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know the full details. I just saw a quick little headline, but I know Teal was mentioned as being in them, and I believe the other guy that Cleo said, and oh God, somebody else. I can't think of the name.
What they're doing with those Epstein files is suddenly putting everybody in on it. In other words, so we don't just focus on Trump. Now we've got, the Clinton, Bill Clinton, a whole bunch of other people that are all involved in this. And so they're all looking around like, okay, maybe we knew him or something, but we weren't really involved with him. That is to, again, divert your attention away from Trump. That's all that is.
But at the same time, it also diminishes their behind the scenes operations, because once they walk the current occupant out of the White House and let JD walk on in, which he seems to be just chewing at the bit to get in there, all of his backers are suddenly named in the latest batch of files. So it's just kind of funny to me that Trump comes out with all this stuff a day after they all got listed in the latest batch
of course.
I mean, is just interesting to me. That, and I'm sure there's going to be some Democrat names that come out with that as well. So um, I'm waiting.
Yeah, and his health is really bad. I think October is just a very bad month for him. Super
Yeah.
bad. I think, he's uh he's going to have a bad, terrible, horrible month this month.
And I did want to point out that what we've been talking about for a while is how much stuff was going to come up in September. And what really, a ton of stuff did come up in September.
Hmm.
And we thought we were going to see, some people thought we were going to see something bigger occurring. And actually, we did. But it didn't come until September 30th, 2025. Remember that date. That is the date that he made his speech to the military, along with Pete.
Heg's breath.
Yeah,
I
Hedgehog.
just wrote Heg's breath. Sorry. I always screw up his name.
I just call him Hedgehog.
Yeah, me too.
It's
I
easier.
got I crack I got it from Linda G, but it cracks me up. So yeah, I do Hedgehog. But yeah, just what happened there is going to be, in my opinion, and from what I get from my guides, this is the nail that goes into the coffin. When he just what he said about the military, I believe that this is going to be the treason. I thought the treason was actually going to be something with Russia, and it might be, but I now think that it has to do with how he's going to try to manipulate the military to do his dirty deeds, sending them into cities for a practice run. What is he talking about? Well, he's talking about how he's going to control the country using the military to go in there and do that. The military, now you got to remember, the military is not political. So
And
I think that,
supposedly not political.
yeah, and I'm guessing that they have to kind of go along with with what are you doing, Colleen?
My keyboard, it jumped up and fell down. It just all on its own. Go ahead.
Wow. So he is just. I kept thinking that the military was going to be the ones to arrest him, and that's the downfall. However, no, it's not going to go that way because A, that's not how it's done. But I do think that the military is going to probably take this to the Pentagon and talk about treason and stuff. And so the only way to remove him for things like that is to go through Congress. And I thought, well, and this is totally my speculation about how things could go. Uh, the only, obviously, if you took it to Congress right now, it just wouldn't happen. But
Well, no, because they are. Wait, let me get it. Let me get it. Let me get it.
And to top it off, something popped up on my news feed. Just
Can
go
you hear
ahead.
it? Can you hear it? Congress is not in session. They're nowhere.
Yeah,
They canceled everything. Everything has been canceled. So
yeah.
can't go.
because of the shutdown?
No, because of Mike Johnson.
He's closed Congress down, even though now I think they don't have a leg to stand on to not swear in the new Democratic Congresswoman from Texas. He's just shut Congress down. He's like closed the House down. And then just as as Cleo started reading or giving us her take on Heg's breath and all of this, I had a pop up come up from Raw Story talking about Hegseth just fired the Navy Chief of Staff, John Harrison, um, who was the direct person to report to the Chief of Staff to the Secretary of the Navy.
Wow.
And he just up and fired him.
Well, and I was, I'm surprised we didn't hear on the day that they did their little thing with the military. that a bunch of people didn't get fired. Instead, he said that you know, if you walked out, that you would lose your rank and you'd be gone. And they just laughed about that. But yeah, he's going to try to fire a bunch of people. But here's what I think down the road is going to happen is that somebody, probably the military, is going to suggest that there's a lot of treasonous activity going on. The way that this could work out is it's not just the president, it's all these people under him, many Congress people, many House of Representatives people. So they're all going to be arrested. Now, what happens now when you take this to Congress to propose a treasonous charge against the president, and now you don't have enough people to do the vote that you want because they have been arrested. This is just my take on it. I'm not saying this is going to happen because it's almost too perfect to believe. But yes, if they remove a bunch of people that are also arrested,
But doesn't
they,
Congress recalibrate when that happens?
I don't know. I don't know. It's,
There won't be enough people to do it. This is the
yeah, that's it. There won't be enough
I had
people.
3 years ago. Because they'll
So,
look down and they'll be saying, "Oh, so many people will be gone." They'll be like, "Well,
Except for the Democrats.
who's going to be
except for the Democrats.
who's going to be minority speaker? Who's going to be minority? They're not going to have enough people to do anything."
And
Yeah.
so the Democrat that the minority, who's the minority Democrat?
Hakeem Jeffries.
Yes, Jeffries. Jeffries will be one to run the show. Now, we've been talking about Jeffries doing this for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
But now he's a turncoat, so.
Well, it'll turn around in a different direction, especially when it comes down. We're not going to be able. We've always said that when the truth comes out, nobody, the biggest people, all of these people are not going to be able to
No one will be
deny
spared.
Yeah, that's right.
deny what's going on. It's
But
going to be in your
started-
face.
Yeah, we started with though the generals, the military getting talked to, and Hegsbreth and all of that stuff. And I think we should talk about what their reaction is going to be because that's where you started to go. And I threw some cards on that, but do you want to talk about that before I talk about my cards?
Go ahead. Let's hear what your cards have to say.
So the cards are pretty clear that the military is going to hold fast. They are loyal to one another, right? They're standing together. They're not splintering off. They're not saying, well, some will agree with them and some will not. I love this second card, the Eight of Cups. Somebody's going away. Somebody's leaving. Guess who it is? Orange. He has orange skin and a bruise on his hand. That's that card.
Matches that orange cloak at the picture of that card.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Orange cloak in the picture. And then we get the magician. So they're going to pull something. They're going to pull something. They've been talking about this. This is already, on, I don't know if they have it on paper because they're not that stupid, but this has already been discussed and gone over. We got the strength card. It's not going to be easy. They've never done it before. My definition for the strength card very often is something you never thought that you would be asked to do or tried to do, and you pull it out of your ass and you do it. I've been using that for years. This is going to be a very pleasant outcome for people. Very happy. Again, Two of Cups, like the minor arcana version of the Lover's card. We see them standing strong and together. We see them taking action, which they need to take action. We see the government as, maybe the government again. But the final card is so good. The Pentacles. This is a plan. This is a plan in secret that they have been plotting and trying to figure out when to do it. What's the best thing? I think this is happening.
I got some cards too.
Okay.
Knight of Pentacles reversed, which talks about self-discipline, boredom, feeling stuck, work without reward. That's your military right now.
Yeah.
And when the government gets shut down, guess who doesn't get a paycheck? Your
Yeah.
military doesn't.
Yeah.
Congress does, but military doesn't. And so they're expecting the military to do all this dirty work for no pay. No, I don't see that happening.
No.
And then I drew the moon reversed.
Hmm.
This has been a weird week for reversals. Um, Repressing emotions, inner confusion, misinterpretation, darkness, insecurities. That's everything a reversed moon talks about. Well, that describes the whole damn mess in a bucket. I mean,
Hmm.
with all of that just swirling around and feeding off of one another. And then I got the hermit. So right now, and especially in lieu of the fact that they just fired somebody up kind of high in the Navy, um, there's going to be a lot of soul searching going on with the military, especially that upper brass saying, all right, boys, are we going to sit around and let them pluck us off one at a time and play nice, or are we going to get together and do something about this crap?
Hmm.
My vote's on the second option there, because then I got energy weapon. So that's telling me they're trying to build up the energy to weaponize their power to go against him. And I think that if they pull that off, yeah, it may be a military coup, but I think it'll be for the best. And then the last card I got was relentless determination. You're talking military. These guys don't quit. They don't give up. I mean, this isn't the Russians that go run home to mama or whoever the minute it got tough. These are American upper brass, and these guys have got brass ones hanging between their legs, so they're not gonna give up. Even the females have their own set of brass ones hanging between their legs. So
You sound like you're talking from experience, Sherry. Is that true?
just what I've known of the few military men that have been in my life, and not in that way, but just their attitudes about things.
Hmm.
You don't grow up next to an Air Force base and not pick up on how the upper brass thinks. So,
Okay, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Well, some of these people, if they speak out against anything, they will be removed, and they know that. Some of these higher ups are just going to say, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this. I can't go along with this. And so they
yeah,
will resign. But they
yes,
now can speak out. They can now say what's on their mind about this
that's
and how it's
already
going down.
happening with some of the former retired ones.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you got to know that these guys are military strategists. They are going to be meeting secretly and going along with this plan.
Oh,
They're
well,
not.
that was the other thing. That when they got this group together, that was such a dumb thing for them to do.
So
They
Oh my
all,
God.
yeah,
When that
they're all,
man walked into the room and not one military brass stood, which I have never seen happen before, not one of them paid any respect. Not one of them clapped. They just sat there like stone pillars in their chairs with
which
their
was
arms
perfect.
crossed, sitting back. And all I could think of looking at that group of some of the group shots they took was, oh, holy hell, he is in trouble now.
And you
Both,
know that
both
afterwards
of them.
they all got together and had a little conference on their own. And
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that's exactly what happened. And yeah, but they have their limits of what they can do. The military can't actually take anybody out of office. That's not their job. But they can make a complaint, or somebody can make a complaint, and they can also bring up all this information that points to treasonous behavior. Maybe they're going to wait a little bit and just see how far he takes this with going into cities with the military and using the military against the people of the United States, which is absolutely not, you can't do that. That's
I
totally
like what
illegal.
Maureen says. They may not speak out, but they will commit malicious compliance. That's already, yeah, Brian 100%ed her. That, yeah.
What is malicious compliance? Can someone tell us what that is?
Making sure that your compliance doesn't work. When it's malicious, that means it's to the detriment. It's bad. It's evil. I'm not going to do that. The Pentagon can take the prez out of office, according to artist Liz.
Well,
Sabotage,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Diane.
yeah. But
We're
it's a
talking,
lot. It's real tricky. It's real tricky. They have to have certain
his
things in
fine lines are
place.
going to be walking there.
Exactly.
Like the
So
birthday parade. He insisted upon wanting tanks and whatnot. And what did he get? Rolling down the street. With those that were marching were not marching. They were like boogieing down the road, you know. I mean,
Yeah, I just feel so strongly that this is when the military is going to come forward with stuff, because he should have been taken out with the 25th Amendment. He should have been sent to jail before he ever
he
got
should have
elected.
never been allowed to run.
He shouldn't have been allowed to run. He shouldn't. All the crap going into the cities. He has just broken so many laws, rules, norms, and conventions that, I mean, even if there wasn't an absolute law that he broke, he still should, you know, should be
And when
taken
you're
out.
talking military brass, these are men and women who have spent their lives following the rules, enforcing the rules. This is our decorum. This is where we stand. This is what we honor. This is what we do not do to dishonor. And when you get somebody, as in the president and the secretary of war, as he wants to call himself, showing complete disrespect to them in the way that they both spoke to them,
Mhm.
I'm when I watched it, all I could think was game on. That was like the vibe I was getting off of all those generals and admirals and stuff
Yeah.
was game
Yeah.
on. It was like,
So,
oh man, they done messed up.
so I think we're all pretty much in agreement that the military is going to take some kind of an action that will
Just don't know
facilitate,
what.
that will.
well, yeah, but the military, here's what I agree. I agree. It is the military, and I've been saying it for a long time, but they
Mm-hmm.
cannot and would not remove a sitting president. Okay, they cannot do that. But who can remove the president is Congress through impeachment and the 25th Amendment if the president is deemed mentally or physically unfit. But here's the deal. This is the normal way to do something like that. The process is led by the vice president and cabinet and not the military. The vice president is going to be right alongside the president as far as being arrested or detained or accused of doing the same thing the president is doing. All of those people from Project 2025, everybody that supports him right now to do stupid things like send the military into cities to use us as guinea pigs to see if it just made no sense. So here's what I'm thinking. How do you do all this to avoid Vance, to avoid the speaker, to avoid all these different people that are going to interfere with what needs to be done? You arrest them
Right.
because they are all backing up the president in a lie. And now we know it's a lie because Trump has come out and said, oh, no, now I'm totally for Project 2025. And so everybody's like, well, then,
Illegal, but that's not illegal.
no, it's not illegal. But I'm just saying that he is getting away with this kind of lie. It's not illegal. That's not what they're going to take him down for. They're going to take him down for treason.
But what are they going to take all the other people down for?
Backing him up. You
Accomplice.
can't do treason by yourself. He
Oh,
can't do it.
okay.
All
All
these
right.
other
So
people.
we all believe that. I personally, I believe, and I don't think I've put this out in any of my readings, but it's just what I've been getting. I personally think that he is in physical danger from his own body in the month of October. I'll just put it like that.
And he's been missing now for 3 days since that
Yeah.
debacle.
And he
No
does.
one has seen him.
We're going on about 4 months where at a certain time of the month it's like the man is on the rag. I mean, he's just like he's out of commission. You can't see him. We don't know why. So
Well, she said Dina says she's being infused with zombie juice.
well, yeah, they're doing like blood transfusions, like chemical cocktails. They're doing extra drugs. They're doing all sorts of stuff. I was just saying to somebody the other day, his body can't take that. He's he's 80
They
years old. How can you
they
expect
are
a human body to keep being like jolted awake and resuscitated like fucking Frankenstein? I mean, the guy,
they are so weekend at Bernieing him. It's not even funny. I
yeah,
mean, that's exactly what they're doing, except that he's actually still breathing in some
yeah.
kind of way.
So okay, so I
But
think that okay, he's going to have some kind of, his mortal coil is going to be found to be very mortal and laying on the ground, I think. And as they take him out, maybe they don't let the other goons know, and they just say, "Oh yeah, we're taking him to the hospital," and it's all military police posing as orderlies or whatever, and the other people then get arrested, something like
Okay,
that.
yeah, it could work that way, but I'm just trying to figure out how can you take something to Congress when it's held by the Republicans?
You can't. That's not how it's going to go down, I don't think. But I would really like to move on to some of our other questions because we have a lot more to talk about. And I think we're pretty much in agreement with this. We just don't know
Okay.
exactly how.
And I want to thank Dina Marie for
Yeah, thank you,
the
Dana. Yeah, for the super.
donation there
Very sweet of you. Thank you so
and
much.
artist
and your
Liz just
comments.
became a new member.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Artist Liz. Thank you so much. I'm going to have members meetings now. I have had them in the past. I will have them again. Thank you very much, Artist Liz. I'm done with fair this weekend. This is my last weekend, so I'll be able to do stuff for the members. And I apologize to all the members for ignoring you, but I will be doing stuff for them, a lot more stuff. Okay, so we want to talk about what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about Canada. We want to talk about uh, what do you want to talk about, you guys?
I don't know, were you interested in any of the things I've starred?
Oh, let me look.
I didn't even look. Now, I
Ooh,
like what Brian said right at the very top.
yeah, 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 yeah. This is so true.
Well, Colleen, we're on the same page tonight. That's a
Yeah, and I think that this really, I mean, we know that they plan these things. We know that this isn't left to chance. Otherwise, that little, what is he, a hamster, Mikey Johnson, running around the cage and up the tubes as fast as he can. He's, doing his little hamster best to make sure that, they're out of session and they can't do it. They can't sign in or swear in the new congressperson.
oh, and supposedly his grinder information got released today.
Yes, and there were pictures of him doing things that no normal Christian man would do. But, he's like a little hamster who's stuck in the tube, he doesn't know what to do to please his master. So, the shutdown, do we think this is the time that they're doing it? And I've heard tell also that they're saying that Congress will not be back until October 14th. Now, I happen to think October 14th is a very auspicious day and something very important might happen on that day. I had a dream about that day, but I won't tell you what's in the dream because it's very, then you'll know what I'm thinking about October 14th if I tell you what I saw in the dream. But just suffice it to say, it's going to be a very auspicious day. And I had a dream about it like 2 months ago. Now,
Isn't that No King's Day?
no, that's the 18th.
18th. Okay.
So what I'd like to read on is, do we think something big is going to happen during this shutdown? Because I think it is. I really think it is. I'm going to mute so that I can shuffle, so you guys can blab and shuffle and talk and stuff, and I'm going to shuffle a little bit, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
everybody has been talking about this right here at the beginning of the show, that Trump was disappearing, and now they're like,
It's
here's
more than
somebody
2
else.
months. He has done this routinely, I think, since the military parade, which was in June, his birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're wondering what's going on with him. Let's see.
I think every time any of the important people, shall we call them, who stand up against him for anything and push back, whether it be a newspaper, a military, a foreign country, um, whatever, every time somebody gives him a major pushback and is like, back the F up, dude, or we're going to have to deal with you, he suddenly disappears.
I guess people
I'm
have been
just,
seeing a common practice of him disappearing in the early part of the month,
yeah.
every month.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, maybe they're putting him on dialysis or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't think it's in response to just what's going on. I think it's a medical schedule. I think he's medically scheduled for his cocktail and his blood transfusion and his chemical stuff. So yeah, I think it's
They
regularly.
probably put him on dialysis to flush everything out so they can fill him up with more juju.
Zombie juice.
That's
Yeah, fill him up with more
dialysis.
zombie
Zombie
That's
juice.
juice.
extreme, but he is extreme. But I feel, I gotta say, folks, and I know people don't like when I say this, but he is a sick man. He's a sick elderly man. We should let him live out his days of delirium in a peaceful setting and just let him shuffle off. You know, don't keep boosting him up. Don't keep using the jumper cables on him. I mean, the poor guy his body's tired. His body is failing, obviously failing. I mean, look at his cankles, look at his hand, look at his face. I mean,
No, yeah, he doesn't look
He
well. He
looks
does not look
horrible.
well.
he looks horrible, and they keep propping him up to do this stuff, and it's just mean. It's just let him go. Let it go. But I do think, Vance is just rubbing his hands together, trying to wait for his little moment in the sun.
Oh, what?
Hate to tell him that that's not, I don't,
So I like what Brian said here. He said, I've been saying for months Trump would go down in October. The rest of them would go down by the end of November. In my prediction journal, I wrote from October 6th and 7th.
okay.
So, yeah, I like what Brian has to say. I like that.
Well, what? I've been having the same vision since like February of the White House at Christmas, and it's empty. No one is there. It's all decorated, looks real pretty, snow falling, empty as a tomb. Not a soul in sight. No, not the current occupant, not his people, nobody. That would fit right in with what Brian was just saying there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arthur's been saying that for a year now.
Yep.
God damn it.
Well,
Sorry.
and I see, you guys keep talking about gurneys and illness and taking him out that way. And I see that as also just an excuse, to kind of a cover. I mean, I know he's a mess and it could possibly work that way, but I think it's a cover because everybody would accept that. Everybody's seen all these headlines about him not doing well and showing pictures of his ankles and stuff and the back of his hand. What is that he covers with makeup? It just looks stupid. I mean, that's kind of an old person thing anyway. But
Because
yeah,
he can't admit that he's sick.
Well, and it's just a perfect out. For if they want to find a reason to take him out, that will be it. Oh, the president got real sick today, and so he might not be coming back. But then they have to deal with Vance. I'm curious about how this is all. It's like a huge puzzle when you try to put it all together. How can they do? You can't let. Or maybe Vance would come back in for just a little bit, but you can't keep Vance in there because you might as well just keep Trump in there.
Well, let's do a separate reading on Vance. So here's the thing. It's going to be during the shutdown, something is going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be a big splashy dramatic thing. I think they're going to try to play it off as, yeah, he's not feeling well, or he had to go to the hospital, or there's something that they're going to try to, well, of course they're covering, they're not saying truth, but they're gonna try to engender sympathies for him. And this has been in the works for a while. They've got these various plans set up. So during this shutdown, when everybody's worried about everything else, they're going to try to focus on Dumpy, and he's sick and he has to go away, yada yada. But really, I mean, I'm not going to say that they're doing something to him to hasten his demise. I'm saying that they're not telling the truth about what is going on. And in spite of their chemical cocktails and their Herculean medical intervention, I think something really bad might happen to him where he can't come back with a cocktail or a blood transfusion or dialysis. Like nothing is bringing him back. And they have to look at Vance. They have to have somebody hold the seat because Project 5 isn't in place yet.
I drew some cards for Trump, and then I can shuffle those up and redraw for Vance. But I got the Queen of Cups first up. So he needs comfort and care. Where the hell is his family to take care of this man?
Oh, I don't think.
Are they just all hiding in the wings waiting for the money train?
I think his keepers won't let the family near him. I think the keepers want to control him exactly the way they want to control him. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, because the first time around, his family was all up in his face.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Especially the Precious. She was everywhere. And then I got the Hermit, more soul searching. They're trying to figure out what's our best move. How do we get through this? How do we, which plan is going to work best? Because I do agree with you. They have more than one plan.
Oh, yeah.
They have several more than one plan. And then I got the Eight of Cups reversed, which is trying one more time, let's give it that all. And fear of change, fear of loss. So that's speaking of right there. I mean, they're going to keep trying and keep infusing him or doing whatever the hell it is they're doing to him because they're afraid of change. They're afraid of losing the narrative or losing control of what's happening. And I think what they don't realize is they kind of already lost control. It's just because the wheels in this trolley roll so slow, it's going to take a little while to catch up to them. Because then I got prepare and stock up. So I think that's for us. We need to get ready for all hell breaking loose because God only knows what they're going to try to shut down and pull if things don't go the way they are trying to make them go. They could take that out on us, the people, from shutting down grocery stores being open to shutting off the gas pumps to who knows. I mean, anything. And then the last thing I got was classified information, which is exactly what it is. It's all on the hush hush.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I got on Trump.
From what I get from the cards that I threw is that whatever they do plan is not going to have the effect they want it to have.
Mm-mm.
And in the end, either Dumpy refuses what they're offering or he can't take it. He's unable to take the medical intervention anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. So,
Yeah, because it's going to come to a point when his body is just,
well, and the point is now. The point is during the shutdown. This is when he is just, the veins are collapsing, the lungs are collapsing, the ankles are collapsing. They can't hold him up anymore. I mean, everything's collapsing. I remember when my uncle passed, he had severe problems from the kidneys because he had been immobile for so long, and he looked much the same way, as I recall. Bruises on the hand. His
yeah.
his ankles were the size of Africa. He was just not in. He wasn't comfortable either. He didn't want to be there anymore. He was ready to go. So that's what I got. So shutdown time is not a party time for him. And somebody else reported, one of the readers, maybe it was Libby, I'm not sure, said that a person who had a very, very deep and long medical profession, that is now retired, that they were listening to his speech to the military heads and could hear in that someone who had extreme congestion in their lungs trying to speak through that.
Yeah.
That like it usually comes kind of at the end.
I
That's
mean, think about how you feel when you get the flu or you get pneumonia and you have to get up and try to talk to somebody or get up and walk across the room.
you
I
can't.
mean, yeah.
You just can't.
It,
Yes, agreed. The cankles indicate the congestive heart failure. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can hear it in his speech. The
yeah.
congestion all over his body is a sign of things coming to an end. I don't know if it's shutting down. I'm not a medical person, but just intuitively, I'm just thinking, this is the, this is, we're at the very, he's almost there. He's almost there. So really bad, really bad. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. We've already done two topics, and it's already 45 minutes. Okay, look.
Okay. I just wanted to mention this. He also talked about that the bruised hands are probably from IVs. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Bad. I mean, his circulation is bad. Clearly, he had that venous problem that they actually copped to in the news. But this,
I don't think they could not at the point that they finally admitted it was because it was just too obvious.
oh, Caroline Levitt could figure out a way not. But I think
This is true.
it was the like the least onerous thing that they could cop to, like the least thing. But anyway, okay. So what are we talking about now? We talking about what are we talking about
I thought
now?
we were going to read on Vance.
Yeah, let's read on Vance. Thank you. Oh God, I grabbed great cards for Vance. Okay, all right. So what will happen? What will Vance? What's happening with Vance when Dumpy's body fails? We'll just put it like that.
It's what he's hoping for. He's waiting it out. He thinks he's going to be put in there and just to continue the same agenda as the boss. He sticks with it. He does the same thing because all of these Republicans that are part of the Project 2025 are so confident in what they are doing. They know they've been working on this for years and years and years, and they got the perfect person to lead the troops, which is not the real troops, but lead them is Trump. And so Vance is just very confident. He's younger. He thinks he's also extremely arrogant. And he'll just, he'll try to do the same thing. He's in for a wicked, wicked surprise.
Yes.
Somebody is going to approach him and say, okay, not now. I mean, maybe he could be in there for a few days, maybe a little bit longer, but in the end, they're going to say, no, this is not what's happening because this is where things begin to get exposed to us, that we find out. Let's say that Trump was removed because he's unhealthy, he's in the hospital, whatever. Vance takes over, but then the illegalities start to come out. That that's not one of those things where somebody can go to court and try to stop this from happening. We already see it. We already know what they're doing with Project 2025. We know what the agenda is.
Yeah.
And if we didn't know, then we didn't ever listen to Kamala Harris. She told us exactly what we're going through right now. She said this is what's going to happen. And she wasn't being a psychic. She had the information in front of her called Project 2025. And it's so, yes, Vance will be, he's not going to, whatever he ends up being, he's not going to end up being president.
Oh God, he got such bad cards. Yeah, I second that about Kamala, but I just always have to say Hillary also said it when
Oh,
she,
yeah, yeah.
right? So these two women both won but didn't win. All right, so this is the cards on Vance, and I used my Tarot of the Vampire deck, which is very dark. All right, so it comes up that in the situation he's in, he's lying. So one thing I wanted to point out, Cleo, is that yes, these Republicans that are for 2025 really are united in wanting it, but the Republicans, the MAGAs, are not united. There's many factions. One small faction is supporting Vance taking the helm, but they don't all support what Vance is going for, which is Project 2025. And they don't like Vance. It's Stephen Miller who's forcing Vance through. So he's a liar. What crosses him? The Hierophant, the actual government. The actual government is against what he's trying to do. And what he's trying to do is probably not going to work. The death card is at the base. So in this instance, I'm not saying physical death, but I am saying not happening, failure. In the past, we have the Daughter of Scepters, which is the Page of Wands. So they told us about this and we didn't listen. Crowning it, Eight of Skulls. They've been working and learning and referencing and researching and trying to figure out how to make this work, how to make this ridiculous plan work. And they've been doing it for 50 years and they think they got it now. But what's coming out in the future for Vance is not happy. This is the Queen of Grails, which is the Queen of Cups. It's not him. It's the Queen of Cups. So who's the Queen of Cups that's coming out here? Queens are covert action. They're not overt action. Queens are doing things behind the scenes. Queens are doing things, and especially the Queen of Cups, emotions and surprising announcements. Something's not happening right for Mr. Vance. What we see and how we view this is that we got the Six of Skulls, is that he's just, robbing from Peter to pay Paul. Instead of the, card of generosity, it's the card of, feed me, Seymour, give me more. And for him, what's coming up for him, the Eight of Grails is the Eight of Cups card. And look at this one. It's not only that he's going to be taken away, but look, his hands are chained.
Yeah, as it should be.
He's going to be taken into custody.
Mm-hmm.
His hopes, the Daughter of Knives, Daughter of Swords, the Page of Swords, he really hopes that he can just get in there, get it all done, and take control and sit in the chair and sit at the Resolute desk and be president. He just wants to go. And what's really going to happen is we have the Five of Knives, which is the Five of Swords. This is not a good card. We all know the Five of Swords. This is not a good card. It's not happy. This is conflict. This is competition. This is fractured loyalties. This is, people fighting with one another. So that's why I started this out saying that, the factions among the MAGA and the Project 2025 people and the Republicans are all at each other's throats. And there's not just 2 or 3 factions, there's like 40. There's no way that Vance can put together a coalition of people who agree on how they should move forward, because some of them don't think he should. Some of them are just saying, well, it will be easier to take Vance out of the top spot than it is Dumpy. So let's let him get the top spot, and then we just cut off his head.
Good point. Good point. But I think that the reason Trump is doing so many things so fast is he's trying to put into place. He might be feeling like his health is an issue. He might be feeling like he might be able to not be able to finish things out, and so he's setting it up so that all his little minions will be protected. And the only thing that worries me about that is the damn Supreme Court, because they themselves are Project 2025. They couldn't do what they're doing without the Supreme Court. And so, he's trying to make it so that what the other people have to take over, that they can take over without being pulled out of there right away. The only thing is, it's gonna go differently. It's not gonna go by the general rule of law. It's just not, because this is a different kind of situation, and that's why we've been saying all along, what we're seeing right now is what we've never seen before, and hopefully we never see it again, because once we get through it, it gets fixed, and things go back to normal. But that doesn't mean that it goes back the way it used to be. It means that things will be redone, revisited.
Right.
The laws are going to change. In the meantime, this Vance guy is, he's just a puppet too. I mean, he's just, but he really, really wants that spot. He can't wait to be the president, and that's just what he's waiting to be. But it's not. He's going to be in for a rude awakening. It's just going to be. They're gonna take him out.
And it's a big problem too for people who are his puppet masters, like Peter Thiel and Sam Altman and who's that other guy? Anyway, but it's really, really. Oh, they've
Fill
all,
up a few, fill
yeah.
up a few slots toward Joy Harbor and what she just posted.
What?
Who?
Look at what Joy Harbor
Are you
just
talking about?
posted.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Whose voice was that, Sherry? Was that your spirits?
Huh?
Was that your spirit guide talking?
That was my nephew running through to go get his food.
Oh, same
I guess
thing.
DoorDash is here.
Okay. Very interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
October. Very, very.
I just drew 4 cards on Vance, and they are very interesting. Knowledge withheld. He's been very good at withholding things and keeping his game face on anytime he's standing behind the current occupant, because he knows the current occupant is going to be watching TV after it's over with to see the faces that everybody makes behind him. And he's learned that lesson well.
Yeah.
And then I got judgmental scrutiny. He is getting ready to get put through a ringer like he's never been put through a ringer before. The picture that keeps coming to me is him running home to mama because they don't play nice and let me win. That's what I'm hearing. Take it for whatever you want. And then I drew from the predictions deck, Moon, no unclear. I had to literally go pull it up and look at what this card means, because I was like, what the hell? And it says this card talks about a moment of undeniable clarity. When uncertainty fades, deception is exposed, and the truth becomes unmistakable. Well, that's what we've all been talking about all night long. This is where everything is heading towards. And then the last card, I love this. A sinking ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So, Colleen,
I just stopped there.
Are you looking into this this what Joy has to say?
Oh, I was just looking to see when the full moon was, and it's on October 7th.
Okay,
But I'll
Linda.
look. I'll look. Here we go. Let's look.
Figures you're looking at the full moon. I want to know if Trump had a stroke.
Well, La Voce di New York, which I can't get to, my very robust browser police are preventing me. Let me try this again. Trump stroke. Looks like a stroke. Social media raises concerns. Says questions about U.S. President Donald Trump's health have resurfaced after viewers noticed what appeared to be drooping on one side of his face. But that was 3 weeks ago. Something went very wrong. Let's just go to Gavin Newsom. Let's see.
You know, and Gavin Newsom could be saying just about anything he wants right now because he's just so disgusted with the whole thing that he just throws out all kinds of stuff. So, you know, it may not be real, but I love it that he's bringing it up.
I'm not seeing. Let me see this. Oh, no, there's no evidence that Gavin Newsom has confirmed that Donald Trump suffered a stroke. The claim is false and appears to be a misinterpretation of Newsom's recent comments and social media activity mocking Trump's health. Okay, so we got all excited.
Damn it.
Well, that makes sense then, because I've heard Newsom say numerous times, I mean, look at him. The guy looks like he's had a stroke.
Well, the thing about his face drooping, I noticed that 18 months ago. I mean, like he had shit going on a year or more ago where you ooh, 333 in the house. Yay, that's a magic number, magic angel number. Yay, thank you for being here. Really, really thank you. Wrote that Newsom used the word stroke against Donald in a post the other day, but it was one of his strike back posts. Yeah, and that's what they're saying is that in his social media, he does say things about that, that person in the White House quite often in terms of, medical difficulties. So, but I do feel that, was it Brian, Brian Evanoff, and then there was also the person we just had up there. We're all getting, and maybe Sherry too, we're all getting that October there is something pretty big, pretty final happening in October. And yeah.
Well, if it's anything like September has been, I mean, September has just been phenomenal. I mean, all these things that he's doing that are adding up to people being discouraged, and even the faithful are like, wait a minute, what's he doing now? And I mean, they're just, it's not working out. He's just, and he's getting continually caught in lies and stuff, but he could care less because he feels untouchable, and so far he has been. And I do think that he is rushing things because he thinks his time might be limited.
I think he's been doing that since January 20th.
Probably, yeah.
I think he has felt this intuitively the whole time. I think when he finally confirmed or acknowledged to himself that it might be the end, that's when he started talking about buying his way into heaven, which was not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, you waited too long. First of all, you can't buy your way into heaven. Second of all, your idea of heaven and what it really is has nothing to do with where you're going and what's going to happen to you. But I mean, that guy's life review is going to last a decade in Earth years. I mean, it's just, think of all the things that he's done. Just terrible. But anyway, well, is there anything else that we need to touch on, ladies?
We could, but it's getting. We're an hour and almost 5 minutes into this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we've covered a lot.
Okay. All right. So thank you. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you for your comments and questions. I know we focused on these starred questions like for the last half hour, and I kind of ignored the other stuff in the chat. But thank you so much. You have so many great things to talk to us about, and I'm just so glad that you're here. Thank you for the new members. It's just awesome. Thank you for the chats, the super chats. That's awesome. Cleo, thank you for being here. I know your time is precious and you don't have a lot of it, and I'm glad you spent some of it with us. Sherry, thank you so much for being
Thank you.
my person who is always here. That's so great, and I'm glad we got to do some readings. I think it's
Yeah, I'm glad Cleo is back.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got to
We
be
all miss
here, and I love this discussion today, and there is so much happening right now. I mean, to me, I can just feel the atmosphere just buzzing. It's just like vibrating. I mean that,
her.
and when you talk about October, I'm thinking, well, let's not forget about all the great stuff that's happened in September, which I know people are thinking, great. Wait a minute, the economy, all this stuff, the guy getting assassinated and stuff. No, I'm talking about the mistakes that are being made, the nail that is going into the coffin. The thing that he did with the military to me was just okay, finally, this is going to happen now. The military thing is what's going to push things forward, and I guess from what you guys are saying, you see things happening. I think that it's because of that basically that things are going to get moving, because now people are saying, "Oh, wait a minute. This is not right. This is not American. This is something different. This is way beyond.
Well, like I
This is
said,
the
when
dictator."
that room full of military, those were men and women that have spent their lives putting their lives on the line for this country and for the Constitution and the people. And I think they are so insulted and so offended by everything that this man and his people have been doing that they're gonna take whatever advantage they can take to put an end to it.
I
Now, I'm
agree.
not saying they're gonna do anything violent or vicious or anything like that, but they're gonna be instrumental in
But they're going to stand up for the Constitution.
yeah.
That is what they do. They are here to protect us. Not just the president of the United States, the whole country. That is what these
Yeah.
military is for, to protect the country and protect the citizens of the United States.
And for people who are really worried about what's happening during the shutdown, I share your concerns. It's very worrying that this was really a planned shutdown so that they would have the opportunity to do a bunch of vile things, including firing people, laying people off, doing some sort of, oh, thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, doing some sort of nefarious activities that were, even more harmful to the American public. But remember what we talked about maybe 9 months ago, 7 months ago. Things have to come to a head and get super uber bad so that the majority of humans in this country will say, get rid of him. He is awful. He's hurting my children. He's hurting my mother. He's hurting me. He's taking money away from us. He's preventing us from being able to eat or live or have a home. We
Or
needed,
get health care.
yeah,
Yeah.
we needed things to get bad so that the collective would rise up and say, this is not what we bargained for. This is not what we voted for. And
But
what
that's what a lot of us have been saying for a while now is it's gonna have to get
we need this.
so bad that his people.
That's right. That's right. That his people, and a lot of his people are, and because a lot of his
Yeah.
people are seeing now how hurt they're going to be, or they have been by his actions.
Yeah.
Once those things are in motion, and I think they are in motion, there's a lot of protests planned. All the protests keep happening.
Vance is still wearing eyeliner, but there's no law against that now. So, we just have to put up with that. But the factions that have broken out within the Republican Party and MAGA, the factions that have broken out among the Democratic Party as well. This is all part, I believe, of things coming to a head to where it's to the point of explosion or revolution or whatever it is. And I don't think that yes, the astrology is pretty bad, but the astrology is not indicating a full-fledged civil war with people on the ground fighting neighbors.
Right.
That's not happening. But you do notice that we have a massed army going out and grabbing people. If that's not warlike behavior, I don't know what is. And then we have the generals exhibiting supreme discipline in the face of this humiliation and this demeaning lecture by Keg's Breath and Dumpster. You have just this extreme behavior happening that will not stand. There will be answers for it. Things will be answered. Maybe not all the answers in October, but certainly there will be some actions taken in October to reverse things, to put things going in the other direction. So I just want everybody to take comfort in that. If you have a spare kind thought for our so-called president who is dying right before our eyes, maybe send him some comfort. That might hasten this process, actually. Go ahead and send him some comfort. It won't kill you, and it will really help our cause. And, know that the people who are doing the things we don't like are not happy people. They're just not. They're not enjoying this. They think, they're getting rich or whatever, but they're not happy people. So send them love and light. Ask them to go to the light, whether that means crossing over or that means just stopping the dark things that they're doing. That would be the thing to do. So, so that's my little soapbox at the end of this. And I thank you all for coming. I thank you all for being here. I thank you all for being strong light workers, and keep up the good work and love yourself as well. All right.
Absolutely.
Sign off now. No more crickets. We're just going to play the music and say bye-bye. Thanks, guys. This was a great show. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.